Hansa Wild Killer here, and today we are cooking with wild, or baking in this case. I'm gonna treat this like any home economics class, so make sure you have an apron, or not, well, depending on what you want to do. But you do have to wash your hands and make sure your hair, if it's long, make sure it's tied up or something so it doesn't fall into the stuff. So yeah, I pre-measured everything already, so if you want to follow along, I will also put the ingredients in the description, but I will read off what I have. Half a cup of brown sugar, a fourth of a cup of sugar, a half a cup of softened butter, which is right here with the spoon I used to scoop it in there. A tablespoon, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon of vanilla. I have not measured that one yet because I'll just measure it and put it in there. 1 egg, a cup of flour, right here, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I put it in here. They're separated. And a half a cup of chocolate chips and a half a cup of chopped walnuts if you want. These are chocolate chips. I'm just going to use half the bag. So you're going to have 2 bowls. One for your wet ingredients and one for your dry ingredients. So let's just put this up here, just so I have room over here. So make sure you also have your spoon or whatever you're going to mix with. So you want to do your wet ingredients first. And your sugars do go with your wet ingredients. So that's going to be your brown sugar, your regular sugar, your vanilla. And remember, the vanilla is 1 teaspoon. I also should have grabbed another spoon, which I will because it's literally right here. I'm just going to use a regular tablespoon. Your egg. Make sure you don't get any shells. If you don't want to have any shells while in there, you can just crack your egg into a separate bowl and you just pour it in there. Since I do have egg on my hands I am going to go wash them. So I'll be right back. Make sure to use soap. And also, if you wash your hands, don't touch your face or anything else besides the ingredients. Otherwise, you're just going to have to rewash your hands. And make sure the water's not cold, because that does not take away your germs. I also forgot to mention, preheat your oven to 375 Fahrenheit or 170 degrees Celsius. Okay, so I'm just going to mix the wet ingredients right now. You could also put the butter in there because technically it is wet ingredients. And if there's clumps, you should probably make sure there's no clumps in your sugar or whatever beforehand. Otherwise, if there is, just use the back of your spoon that you're using and just flatten them in the bowl. So I am going to also put the butter in here. Or you can mix your butter with your dry ingredients. It doesn't matter. They're all going in the same thing anyway. But this is just the way, I guess, I do it. You could also use a not a hand mixer. Well, actually, you could use one of the hand mixers instead of like your using your spoon. I'm just using spoon because I don't want to have to go all the way over there to plug it in. And I don't want to move the camera because I'm lazy. Anyway, that's mixed. Put that to a side. Now let's do the dried ingredients, which is only a few things. Which is your flour, your salt, and your baking soda. And you could just mix it. Another thing you can do to make it, I guess, a little bit more airy is if you sift your flour and stuff. I don't have a sifter, but I do have a mesh strainer. So I could use that. Well, I'll grab it. Mesh strainer. And what you're gonna do is you can sift it into your wet ingredients. So this basically just takes out the clumps of flour and stuff. Try not to make a mess. Mix only so much and you just stir. Just put a little bit at a time each time. I almost forgot. The chocolate chips! God! Shut. I'm just gonna put them in now. Oh, these are huge ass chocolate chips. Look at that. Look at that big chocolate chip. They're usually smaller. These are mini kisses. So you know they're good. I'll put half the bag in there. I might put more. Just put that to the side. Close that. Get these out of my... Whoops. Get these out of the way. And keep stirring. Make sure you scrape the sides so you get all the flour and stuff. And try not to spill outside the bowl like I just did a couple seconds ago. Of course, you don't have to sift it, but yeah. It's like powdered sugar. I'm gonna switch my spoons. Scrape all that off. And I'll put that just right there. I did the bowls backwards. I'm just gonna sift the rest of the flour and back into this so I could just dump that in there because it's a bigger bowl. And after you're done sifting it, it should, yeah. I'm just going to put that aside. And pour the rest of the cookie mix in here. So I'm just going to move these. And then you just mix it all into your cookie dough. If I'm being honest, it doesn't look like there's enough chocolate chips, so I'm gonna add the whole bag. Oh, there goes the chocolate chip. Gotta throw that away. Don't want the animals to eat it. And if your dough does seem a little bit sticky than what a cookie dough is supposed to do, I guess you could just like add more flour. That's not gonna hurt. This is my container of flour. I'm just gonna add a tablespoon. Keep that in there for now. Your oven should be preheated. And you should have your cookie sheet and parchment paper if you have. Unfortunately, I do not have parchment paper, so I'm just going to be putting them on the pan. Cookie pan. So once it's all mixed, you can get your cookie pan and start making your balls of dough. Not gonna lie, I just want to eat the cookie dough. And make sure to clean the spoon just to make sure like there's not excess flour like in the dip. I'm gonna grab the cookie sheet after I'm done wiping the counter because it has flour on it. Okay. My cookie sheet. So now you're just gonna want to make them into dough balls, and you're pressing down. Depending on how big you want your cookies, I'd probably make them about this big. So you just make sure they're spaced out too, and you're just gonna press them down just a little bit, or you could just leave them in a ball. I might need 2 cookie sheets. My hands are going to be messy after this. It's also going to be very chocolatey. That's a little too big. I think I could only fit 8 on here. I think this might make maybe 16 cookies, depending on how big you're making the cookies. I'm just putting them on the pan. I forgot to push them down. Just kind of. They're still very doughy. I'm gonna grab another cookie sheet after I'm done washing my hands, because cookie dough. All of the racket. I have a smaller cookie sheet. And also, instead of using your hands, you could also use 2 spoons. That's what people in home economics would probably do. But this is at home baking, so yeah. It's better if you have a parchment paper, is because the cookie won't stick to the pan. So hopefully these actually won't stick. So that's all done. I'm just gonna put this in the sink. And wash my hands again. And then, once your cookies are all on your sheet, you put them in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes or until they're golden brown. So I will redirect the camera this way for the oven. Can I just like, there. Oven. I'm wearing shorts, it's not just a shirt. I swear. Oven. Another thing I should have done is lower one of those racks. So, if you got to this point, and you should probably lower your rack if it's too high. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Because me being me, didn't think I'd need 2 cookie sheets. And just one more. No, that's not how that looks. Perfect. And then go your other ones. And you let them bake. So, we will, it's crooked. We will be back within 8 to 10 minutes when they are done. So, hold up. I also forgot to say, while your cookies are in the oven, you should clean up. Put all your stuff away, and while you wait, wash your dishes that you dirtied. So your parents or whoever, or by yourself, whatever, don't get mad at you for making dirty dishes. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Okay, since the bottom one it's on the bottom and that's where the heat is, you can take those ones out because, well, you should know if you're like baking cookies and stuff, those ones are done. The top ones just need a little bit more. So, would you look at that, cookies. If you don't have like little thing to put them on, you could I just put them on the stove. I'm just gonna move this to the bottom rack. Stay in for like a couple minutes. And you'll let those cool off. So, I will be back within like a couple seconds here. It's been a couple minutes, so I think they're done now. So I'm just gonna take them out. And then when they're out, turn off your oven. So, while those cool off, you could just like let them sit there for a while. Unless you have like a cooling rack that you can use, then you could unstick them after like a minute or something, so they're a little bit cooler and more hardened. Whereas if you take them off like right now, they're pretty soft still, so you would break them in half. So I'll see you when everything is done. Yeah. And the cookies are done. So once they're all cooled off, you can just take one, enjoy it with a nice cup of milk. Or something else if you're lactose. Lactose-free milk. So yeah. It's a good cookie. Like if you enjoyed today's video, and comment what you think, or if you're gonna make cookies, tell me how they went if you did. Comment what other recipes I should do. I could find a recipe and I could get all the ingredients and I could make it for you. Yeah. So, like if you liked, comment whatever, and share if you want to, and subscribe if you want to. So, I know I haven't been uploading a lot is because, one, I have work, and living as life as an adult just sucks in general. But I have to work, so I work 8 hours a day. This is my day off, and I'm doing this because I love you guys. All 300 and I think 60 of you. So, yeah. So, I will guys. I will see you guys in the next video, whenever that's gonna be. It might be a while, but yeah. Yeah. See ya.